Hey everybody, it's STARJUMP Grim doing a mic check. Let me know if you can hear me okay. It's a late night stream. We're going to have a good time. Just let me know in chat if you can hear me 5 by 5. Kefco says 5 by 5. All right, everybody. Good deal. Let's kick off the Drake cinematic. It's only about 5 minutes long or so, and then we will be live. So I'm just going to get a few things ready, grab something to drink, make myself a nice hot coffee. Suggest you do the same. Appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. Let's kick off the Drake cinematic, and we'll be live right after. All right. Hello, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Chat, let me know. Let me know if I'm coming in okay. Kefco says, damn, you love your Drake. I do. It was the first cinematic I did. The second one, if you haven't seen that on our YouTube, second cinematic I did was Aegis. I was going to do them all at one point, and then I realized how insane that was. So. By the way, everyone, I'm still recovering from being sick, so you're going to see some sniffing, you're going to see some sneezing, you're going to see some tissue nose blowing. Hopefully that does not ruin your night. So, how's everybody doing? Is everyone enjoying their Saturday? We got a cup of coffee tonight. We got a cup of coffee going tonight. So I thought tonight we'll see how things go. I might try to do a little Copion hunting in what do you call it? Microtech area. We'll see. We'll see if we can even get in the game. I see all kinds of amazing people in chat. This is a little bit unplanned tonight. I didn't have much to do, and I thought to myself, why not? Why not? Quick heads up for those waiting on the Gollum and the Atlas Geo for Fleet Viewer. A little bit of an update there. The Gollum is done. It's been done actually for a little while now, and that has been sent to Starlet. Starlet will get that ship integrated into Fleet Viewer so you can represent it in your fleets very soon. I think she's just been dealing with a few things, but she'll probably get that in the next day or so. Hey, Kavotho, hope you're well. And then the Atlas Geo, that one's a little trickier, and there's a few technical reasons why. The first Atlas we did through StarFab. We don't currently have StarFab, so I don't want this one to be wildly different than that. So what I think I'm going to do is take the original Atlas from StarFab and do the extra bits from the Geo on top of it, like graft it on top as a placeholder until StarFab is ready, which I'm told is very soon. So my goal is to buy the Gollum hopefully by tomorrow. I need to follow up with Starlet about that, and then hopefully the Atlas Geo sometime next week if I had to guess. We were going to play some Star Citizen tonight, get into a little 4.1, check out a few things. You know what? I actually have not checked out the Gollum, believe it or not. So maybe we can check the Gollum out for a minute. Check out the Atlas Geo, all that good stuff. I'm also really excited for my downburst paint for my Corsair. Again, I'm a big Drake fan, so I had to get the downburst paint pack, which was the paint, the armor, and the parallax rifle. So I might check those out. But ultimately, I thought about just grabbing a gun and heading out to Microtech and try to do some Copion hunting. We'll see. We'll see what we get into. Appreciate y'all coming along for the ride. If you're in the server with me, or if you're a friend of mine on the game, feel free to jump in. Artemis TMG, thank you very much. How are you doing? Did I say TMG? TGM? TGM? Hey, Starlet, I was just talking about you. I was informing everyone that you do have the Gollum files, and that will be up at some point in the not-too-distant future. But you've been dealing with a lot of real-life work schedules and a damn earthquake in your side of the world. So we all love you, care about you, and glad you are safe. And obviously just do the Gollum in your own time, no rush. But I was informing everyone that the Atlas Geo will probably be next week sometime. Yeah, no worries, Starlet, no rush. I just realized I need to flip over to the game, everyone. Sorry about that, derp. Yeah, no worries, Starlet, no worries at all. In your own time, like I told you before, this is not a paid endeavor, so we get Fleet Viewer updated when we can. Starlet's been super busy right now and shouldering a lot of stuff. So everyone give Starlet a big 07 if you're a fan of STARJUMP Fleet Viewer. You want to make sure you give her that love because of her. She's a critical reason why STARJUMP Fleet Viewer is even a thing. So. Kevco says, sorry, moving some windows around, everyone. Kevco says, do you think they'll give us a decent paint job for the F8 anytime soon? Well, I like the executive one. It's pretty nice. Inside the cockpit of the executive has gold trim on it too, which I really dig. So, Starlight, how are you doing though? Everything good in your neck of the woods? I'm rocking that parallax rifle. Everyone, you can see it here. Really, got a few things to talk with Starlight about soon. Yes, normality is restored. Good, 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 good. I do know a lot of people in Bangkok, actually. So hopefully all of them are safe and sound from the horrible earthquake up in Myanmar, formerly known as Burma. Interesting area up there, interesting geography. Yeah, Starlet, so in 2012 or so, I forget which year, so I was living in New York City. I was actually working down in Canal Street, down in Chinatown, and there was an earthquake. I forget where the earthquake was, and we felt it in New York City, and I was in an old skyscraper, like an old one, and I felt the building shake, and the chandelier in my office was like swinging. And those buildings are not designed for earthquakes. Just let me tell you, those old brick and mortar, like 10-story tall, old school skyscrapers. And I got to tell you, I was a bit scared. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. I forget what year that was. But when you've never experienced one, it's pretty crazy. Salute Vess and Chief. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. By the way, everyone, if you haven't followed the channel on Twitch, please give the Twitch channel a follow. And if you're over on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe or thumbs up, all that kind of good stuff. Really appreciate it. Oh, I got some news, everyone. Red Marine says, I'm 1,300 away from executive lightning. Yes, I made very poor... Well, I'm right there with you, Red. Many a poor decision had been made. There's probably a few people in this chat that can sympathize with you. You're amongst friends here. No judgment. You're amongst friends. I do have some news, everyone. I know that I do STARJUMP Shipyard live on Tuesdays now. I know most of you all know that. It's a live stream where we talk about ships, usually with a focused subject matter. But how many of you miss the pre-recorded, pre-done Shipyard episodes that focused on a particular ship, like my one on the Crucible or the Kraken or whatever? Did any of you miss those? Because if you do, I have 2 new ones in production. Two new ones. And I can go ahead and tell you which ships they are if you're interested. I am doing the Genesis Starliner and the Aegis Nautilus Mine Layer. I've decided to do both of those, and yeah. Kavotha says I was woken up to a 5.7 once. Not something I want to do again. Yeah. By the way, everyone, here is the Atlas Geo. I did have this out, but I haven't checked out the Gollum. Yeah, thank you, Plague Dealer. You know, and I Am Sickness, those are my favorite YouTube content. Oh, I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. That actually encourages me to do more of them, to be totally honest with you, Sickness. Yes, I am started literally making them now. I have, like, formally started doing them, so. Oh, you know what? Actually, I wanna send this down. Let me go ahead and jump out here. The Atlas Geo is really cool, by the way, everyone. And I think CIG nailed the price. I think they nailed the price. Oops, sorry. Alright, let's see here. Let's send this down. Yeah, they're fun vids. I'll be honest with you, they are semi-hard to make. You know what I mean? Oh, that's interesting. It says retrieve. That can't be good. I wonder how I want to do that then. Let's see if we can pull up the Gollum. Citizen Ninja says, I'm guessing the Starliner will be a post 1.0 release. So, I think so. I do think so. Based off, you know, a little bit of information I have, which is not anything uber official. I've had some conversations with a dev, but even that dev didn't know for sure. But Excuse me. Sorry, everyone. Sorry. But I think it's probably a post 1.0 release. However, from what I've heard, they do have some really solid plans for passenger gameplay. Believe it or not, it's not something that's like they don't really know what to do or anything. They do have a plan for it. Hey, Bingo. Hope you are well. Okay, so this is interesting. My Geo just will not go away. By the way, I don't know if anyone's seen this gun. This thing is gnarly. I guess I need more ammo. Good lord. Let's see. Yeah, Plague. I appreciate that. It's that's the point of them for sure, is to go beyond what the typical video is, and try to do something a little different. I'm not interested in doing something the same that other people have done, only because they've probably done it to a fine quality, and why do another one? You know what I mean? So generally, when I do content, especially ship-based content, I do try to give either a unique visual, so do the models or whatnot, or I try to give a unique perspective on it. I have made some friends with some of the developers, some on the ship team, some not on the ship team. I went to school for game design, actually. A lot of people don't know that. I do work in film and television, but I originally went to school for game design. So a lot of my friends still work in the game industry. My good friend is a high up at my good friend Corey's a high up at Rockstar. I have another good friend Rick, who's very high up at Bethesda, and several other game companies. So I do try to look at these from a game perspective. I look at the project from that perspective too. So yeah. Okay, so I gotta park it like in the middle for it to go down. Okay. I might take it with me on out on a ship, but I just wanted to fly this around for a minute and check it out. Gears. I still think this thing is designed to carry a 32 SCU box, as me and Execute from the Info Runners said. Who got a Gollum? Who all purchased one of these ships? I'll tell you this, the thing moves really fast, don't it? Citizen Ninja, I got plenty of friends in low places, my friend. Generally, though, because I do have friends that are developers, it really doesn't mean... Oh god, oh, I don't have my gears down. It really doesn't mean anything, because I really don't ask for information. I don't ever ask for anything from developers. The last thing I want to do is risk anything for them. So I never ask. If they offer up information, that's great, but I never ask. Citizen Ninja says, I got the Gollum. Grab the starter pack for the Rockfall paint. Oh yeah, is there a special paint for the starter pack? Because I bought all the paints, but I didn't get the starter pack. Artemis, do I know any new mechanics, animations they're adding to GTA 6? So, I don't. And my friend Corey is someone I especially don't ask, because Rockstar is particularly hard-ass about keeping their secrets, so I don't want to put him into any issues. But I did go to their motion capture studio one time when they were doing some motion capture work for GTA 6. I actually got to see a little bit of some story dialogue, but it was out of context. I don't really know, you know. But I am excited for that game. I really love GTA 5. And you know the cover art for Grand Theft Auto? Like this, you know, it's got the cells and the illustrations. So the person that does those, or used to do them, he did them all the way up to GTA 5 or GTA 4, can't remember, but he did all the previous ones, the original, Vice City, San Andreas, all those. My friend is Steven is the one who did those illustrations. Yeah. He's a really great illustrator. He's freelance now. He doesn't work for Rockstar anymore. But when I lived in New York, I worked for a company that literally was one floor up from Rockstar. We were just a floor above them, so it was easy to kind of meet some of the folks from there. And I worked at a design company, so yeah. Okay, let's see if... Okay, let's send the Gollum down. We're going to go Kopion hunting, or we're going to grab a ship. And I might just throw the Geo in there with me since I can't seem to get it to go away. But what I'm going to do, let's send the Gollum back down.
To the ASOC vehicle retrieval system.
Let's see here. Atlas. Okay. Drake Gollum. Okay, let's send that down. You know what? I don't know if I have ammo for anything. Let's check, see if I have ammo. I'll need to buy extra boxes. By the way, all these FS9s are from supplier Fight for Pyro. I was murdering so many people with FS9s. It was brutal. It was brutal. Okay, do I have ammo? I hope I do. No, I don't. Okay, so we may need to go find some ammo, everyone. Let's go do that real quick. So by the way, I am also, I'm going to go ahead and warn you all, I am on Lorville, and I don't know my way around Lorville. The reason I'm at Lorville and not Orson, my usual stomping ground, is that, is that I had an issue where the Polaris, if I want to use it as a cargo ship for some reason, which does happen, when you go to land at Orson, it wants to give you a docking port and not a hangar, so I wanted a ground-based location like Lorville just in case. Yes, Bunker, you will have to shake your head in disgust when I inevitably go the wrong way, which will happen. I don't have my track IR on tonight either, everyone. So, I don't know, for those of you that watch Paul Shelley, he had a great stream the other day. Shout out to Paul, by the way. I really appreciate him having me on the captain's table not too long ago. That was really great. The first time I'd been on there, actually. I've known Paul for a while, but it was the first time I'd been on there. No, I don't think so. I don't think so, Bunker. But he was saying in the Geo that he will like do the thrust jump and then like jump on people, like enemies, like enemy NPCs, and it will kill them instantly. Oh yeah, we should talk about that a little bit. Do I have that ready? Do I have that handy? Yeah, can someone DM me on Discord? Can you DM me the sneak peek image? I do have some thoughts about it. I just don't have it handy at the moment. But feel free to DM it to me if you want. Oh, that's cool, Bingo. That's cool. Bingo, do you have I know you posted a fleet pick. Do you have an ironclad? Is that part of your fleet? And by the way, everyone, I'm really sorry for the sneezing and the tissues. Apologies.
Next stop, Metro Center.
You do? Okay. Gotcha. Tag, not the regular one, not assault. Okay. Yeah, I have both. Not because I plan on keeping both, but because I wanted to kind of feel both of them out. The regular I bought War Bond, and the assault I think I have with credit. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. Oh, looks like Bunker Fists, as usual, got me the image real quick. Everyone, stand by. Let me pull this up. Thank you, Bunker. Appreciate you. Real quick, everyone, you mind if we just take a second and let me move it over here. Bear with me, everybody. I'm going to pop this up here. While I'm looking for ammo real quick, what's everyone's thoughts on this? What's everyone's thoughts on this sneak peek? I've heard a lot of different things. I have my opinions. Oh, there's Execute. Playing this game is new. It's like you copying me. I streamed this earlier today to 4. I did see you streaming Execute. I couldn't watch you though because I was hanging out with my daughter, but I was hoping it went well. I was hoping it went well. I'm doing well, dude. I hope you're doing well. Everybody, Info Runners is in the YouTube chat. Make sure you check out their channel. One of the early supporters of STARJUMP, and we appreciate Execute. I definitely do. All right, now I got to find where you buy crap. I'm going to get lost a lot. But anyways, what does people think about the ship? The sneak peek text too was like, get ready for combat. Combat RSI EMP Mantis. Could be. That'd be interesting, right? That would be interesting. I just assumed that was still in that was still in what do you call it? Concept. I think it's the Perseus. I think it's the Perseus for a couple reasons actually, but I'd be curious to debate someone. By the way, if anyone is wanting to chat or Execute, if you're wanting to chat, feel free to let me know. Throw you in voice for a bit if you want. Chief Tygon says Drake Heavy Fighter. Ooh, maybe indeed. They found an EMP Mantis. Yeah, back in the day. Oh, okay. Yeah, it could be that. Why not? Why not? By the way, everyone, bear with me while we're showing this image. I'm trying to find where to go in this game. But if you look at the top-down view of the original Mantis, it has those ribs with the red lights in them. Oh, is that true? Okay. Maybe it is. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, let me grab you. Hey, Execute. Can you hear me?
And twice. Hang on, I gotta get it.
There you go. So, Mantis EMP, would that really scream combat? Get ready for combat? Is that what we're thinking? Did it say?
So like it. Well, they reckon it might be more of a combat Mantis, so like an RSI fighter. Kind of think light RSI fighter that we don't have.
Yeah.
We've got the Scorpius. So or it could be a medium actually, but that's just what people were saying, and I can see RSI vibes on it, and I think that's what you were going to point out. And so I will agree with you. I couldn't rule out Perseus, but I would say it looks smaller because, and the only reason I'm going to say that, right, is this looks like it's at the center at the back. It looks kind of, it's like almost like the tail fin, and then on the left-hand side, blurred in the background, looks like a Mantis kind of engine, and then on the center at the back, there's nothing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like lights or something, like it's in a hangar or something. That reminds me of the yellow, what is it, the safe lane hangars. It reminds me of the lights there, right? And if you think about the size, if that is the center of the body, to the scale, this does look smaller. But I would, if you've got things that you think it pointing out to the Perseus to me, please share. I would happily listen.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, let me turn you down just a tad. Okay, cool. Let me know, Starlight, if that sounds better.
Well, that's good. I have not heard that for the last couple of days. It's always turn him up. So that's good.
Good.
Yeah.
I do think it's RSI because one of RSI's main design traits is overlapping paneling. This is something that the ship designers have said. That's a design trait for RSI. So I do feel like it's RSI. The texture work is interesting, though, and part of the reason I was thinking that this could... I'll be totally honest with you, everybody, just to cut right through the bullshit. I can't tell if this is a big or small ship. But when I speculate, one of the reasons I thought, well, maybe it's a big ship and we're just seeing a very small area of it, is because there's different levels of like fidelity that CIG focuses on when with a ship. They do focus on close up, they focus on medium, and they focus on far away. When I look at this image, though, one of the things that bothers me, now this could be an early image, though, so that's why I don't want to get too up in arms about this. You don't need to tell me I'm wrong because, again, I'm sorry, but
just to your
if you look at if you look at this texture right here, though, this texture is stretched. It looks stretched on the UV.
It looks like it's that stainless steel aluminium, but I was just going to say to what you were saying, this could also not be the center of the ship. It could be the side or something.
It could be. This could be the absolutely.
So I could be completely wrong in what I'm saying. Yeah. So right.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm speculating wildly. I don't know what ship this is. I don't know how big it is. I'm just like looking for things. But that one stretch texture bothers me a little bit. It almost looks like it's not UV mapped properly. And the only reason I was thinking, well, maybe this is a very tiny piece of a large ship, is that sometimes on CIG ships, tiny details do have stretch textures because they don't expect you to look at them at that detail level, or at that level of zoom. The other thing is they went to such an extreme depth of field on this image. That I was like, well, maybe they're trying to hide more. But again, I could totally be wrong.
So I like discussions, but anyway, that's why I keep trying to interrupt you because I like it back and forth. I don't. Well, I know you kind of like to talk long. I like to talk short, and that's okay. It's an Aussie thing versus American thing. It's totally fine. So you're the camera person or the cinematographer between us more than I am, right? Now I would ask you, to my eye, the focal point is actually those interlapping pieces that you're talking about on the far right-hand side. So I almost wonder if that central piece that appeared stretched, could it just be slightly out of focus? Because to my eye, you know what I'm talking about? That black panel and the silver panel on the far right-hand side, they appear to be really clearly in focus to me. But then if I look at the fin, or not the fin, but the tail piece, it seems a lot blurrier. Not even looking in the center. I think it kind of blurs as it goes to the left. And so maybe it's just slightly blurred enough that you think it looks stretched, but it's actually just blurred.
Yeah. Hey, Citizen Spooner. Hopefully they are. We'll see. I'm going to give it a shot, but either way, we're talking Star Citizen ships. So either way, we're going to have a good time. I mean, if you look at just some of these areas where the texture work is done, to me, it's got to be one or two things. And I say this because CIG kills it on textures. Actually, Jaybird Max says it's a gun. Maybe it is. It honestly could be.
True.
It could be.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It could be the top of a gun.
This back here that's out of focus could just be background stuff. So that's very true. But what I will say is CIG does really great texture work. And some of these textures, if you look at them, look very strange to me. Like this piece here, it looks odd. It looks like a UV map that's not done properly, or an early texture mock-up, like from a that's not load 0 or whatever.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm going to say. It's the usual line. Pete now says there's the standard in front as lines that we say, and one of them is just enough to hang yourself. And I after what the gentleman said about it's a gun, Jay Birdman, Max, who said it's a gun, 100%. That could explain why it looks stretched there, because we are super zoomed in.
Yeah, maybe so. And
that is an area that you would compromise when you're UV mapping, because generally you wouldn't look into a gun like that.
Exactly.
You put it on the side, nice and high texture, but in there you'd kind of go, I can fudge it a bit.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely possible. I think that's very possible. Citizen Spooner says crossbow. Is it not the crossbow? It could be. I mean, honestly, it possibly could be.
We got an image of that somewhere. Hang on,
we do actually. Yeah, I mean, it definitely could be the cross. I mean, I didn't think about like I said, I didn't think about a weapon, but it absolutely could be.
It's a really good point.
Yeah,
this is why I like to brainstorm when I'm speculating. But maybe I should start speculating a lot more on stream. That would be cool, because I think you've kind of taught me that. Now I don't see. I'm going to send you this image. This is the Ulti-Flex crossbow.
God dang, I lost everything. Yeah.
Oh, you lost all your ammo?
Well, no, I lost all my ammo and all my waters and stuff I had purchased last patch.
There's a famous line based around that. It's called "Welcome to Star Citizen."
I know. It's good to be here.
All right, I
Socially
sent you that
confused.
image.
Okay. Let me.
If you want to pull it up.
Yeah, let me bring it up.
But I cannot see that anything remotely like that. But I would adamantly agree it could have changed. But that is a huge style change. This is this bow is very carbon fiber based.
Yeah,
and there's no real lights on it or anything like that. Because again, it's a crossbow, so they would make it a bit more primitive.
Yeah.
It feels like an industrial crossbow when I look at it, like carbon fiber and shit like that.
Yeah. Unless it's like some
another
weird
gun.
edge piece up here that they've redesigned slightly. I mean, it's possible. I mean, we don't really know.
No, I wouldn't rule it out.
Yeah. So
I mean specifically the crossbow. I still agree with the gun thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good call, Bird Max. I'm not shooting you down. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right, Citizen. It could be that. It could be, we don't know. Sickness, yeah, if you want to DM me, you can shoot me an image. So here's a little bit of the argument of why I thought, and I know everyone, I'm playing Star Citizen. I am, but we're also talking as we usually do. But here's why originally I was thinking Perseus. I was thinking, again, I'm just thinking Invictus. That's kind of our next big milestone. The 4.1 patch is kind of the April patch. Our next month we're going into is May. And May is going to be all gearing up for Invictus. It's one of the biggest sales events of the year. So this is going to be probably a ship coming at Invictus. Would you agree?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
So with my talks with people at STARJUMP, there is a lot of ships coming.
Yeah.
After the horror that was last year, and if you think about it, we did not eat well for ships. We got a lot of variants and they were pretty crappy.
We did.
CIG knew that's why they dipped in and made Mark IIs, because let's be honest, they really should have, those Mark IIs for the Hornets, they should have just been upgrades for people that had the Hornets already.
They should have.
It's probably one of the worst PR type of things they've done in a really long time. And I expected more of them, but I think the main reason they did that was they were really apparently hard up for cash. But I wouldn't have done it that way. I would have given free upgrades because the game's not really done. But anyway, I'm at this point where, well, you and I have gone back and forth on this a few times, right?
Yeah.
I think the only ships that we'll kind of agree on, not saying which one's coming, but we'll say the Perseus and the Ironclad are the big ones.
Yeah.
One of them for definite is more than likely coming at each big sale. I think you
so,
and I will agree on that, right?
Yeah, I agree on that.
And you and I will go back and forth on which one's coming where, right? And that's totally fine because that's the fun part, right?
Yeah.
But the small ones, I think they're a lot harder to detect. I think you could think that you would hope that they are of a combat skew.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I was expecting like the new sale popping up is really surprising to me with the Workers' Week, but there is an interesting part that's missing, right? And the thing that was a real tell to me and Algrid was the Infronter's big ship, which is the Endeavor. And we were like, so they haven't sold everything at this Workers' Week. Does that mean eventually we're going to get a Science Week? Or
I think so.
Whatever you want to call it?
I think we'll get all that, yeah.
Yeah, where's that going to lie? Because I'm going to be honest, if they've got so many sales going over this Invictus period, like you could almost have, like the first time, look at what we've got now, what we've just seen. We've essentially had last year's ship that you missed, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Workers' Week, Invictus, Alien Week. That's literally the first 6 months of the year is a sale every month.
What is going on here? Yeah, I mean, and sorry everyone, what's going on there? And also, I mean, so with this Workers' Week thing, this essentially was a new essentially the second opportunity sales event to now be able to purchase things like the Hull ED and Pioneer, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of a big deal.
I do want to go through one thing because I'm noticing socially confused saying the TAC and the Perseus. Well, I agree with the TAC. The reason me and Algrid have talked a lot about our conversation with John and Ben is the thing that they didn't stress it, but it was really clear that they said a couple of times. You know, when someone's like they repeat themselves, right? They basically said to us, like, because they said 18 months, and we just went, okay, and we kind of just kept moving through the conversation. And then they went 18 months, and this is why, and they went bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
And it basically, every ship, no matter what it is, it's got all these checks and balances. It's not to do with how long it takes. Like the artists are sped up, right? By doing another RSI ship, but it's got to be, and they were mentioning things like CR's got to sign off at this stage, and then the designers are going to sign off at this stage, and it's other people, and they're doing other jobs as well, so they can't just stop, tick a box, and it takes them time to go through the ship and make sure everything works for them. So it's literally 18 months of checks and balances, not how long it takes to do the ship. So I want to make that really clear. And if you look back to it would have been last year or the year, when they talked about the Galaxy being ready to go, right? It was halfway through the year. And then the next thing we heard, by the end of the year, the Perseus was being worked on. So somewhere in there, or wherever it was where it changed, and I can't actually remember, I'd have to go back and look at my records. But you add the math to that, it's only a year to get to Invictus. Yeah. Right? And based on that, I like the way it was kind of drilled into me by Ben and John, I just can't see it coming. Now, if it comes out, I'll be really surprised, because it probably means it was started earlier than that. But I won't rule it out. But I think for me, and again, when you're sitting down with Ben and John, you really kind of absorb everything they're saying. You can think what me and Alfred would have been like.
Well, for ship people like us, they're the ship people, so you're going to take every word, you know.
When we got back to the hotel, we had an hour and a half with them for lunch, right? And as soon as we got back to the hotel, I think for like 3 hours, we just sat down recalling everything we could possibly remember and wrote it down in a book, right? And that's, you know, and we were just going through everything. Oh, I remember this, I remember this, I remember this. And we just, because we didn't want to forget it, because it was so valuable to us. And the 18 months thing is like the most pitiful thing we've tried to teach people, because if you know when it starts, you can roughly tell when it ends. But we knew things about, like, the 400i. You would have heard this too. The 400i sat for 18 months after it was finished before it was released.
Yeah, I had heard something similar. Not 18 months. I just heard that it had sat for a long time before, you know, and it had been, and it was essentially finished. So that lines up.
And apparently when it got to the last final stages, it had problems with checks and balances, and they had to go back and fix things. So I'm not saying that
they Angry Sarah, I hope you will.
They come out naturally after 18 months. I just don't see the Perseus coming out, because it's only 12 months, not 18. I'd love it to come out earlier, to be honest with you, but I just can't see it when I know the Ironclad's there, and the Ironclad. See, John explained to us that you know how you heard about him smiling at CitizenCon.
About the Corvette.
Yeah, so that now you add 18 months from when he was talking about smiling. That's Invictus. He was smiling because he told us at that lunch that he knew it had started work. That's why he was smiling, because he already knew they were working on it. And you add 18 months, that's this Invictus. And they sold the Ironclad. They also sold the Ironclad at Invictus, so it kind of makes sense to release it at Invictus. Like, but I don't want to shoot people down, because I know a lot of people are really hopeful for the Perseus, but I have to be a realist, and the information I have is telling me very differently.
Here's what I will say: if you are a Perseus fan, regardless of if it's, like, for example, if it doesn't come out, I promise you they're going to pull back the curtain on it. Well, I shouldn't promise you. I would think very heavily they're going to pull back the curtain on it with an ISC showing its progress or whatever. So I don't think you have too long to wait. Hey, Sarah, I'm doing very well. I hope you're doing well. It's nice to see you. Thanks for hanging out. We're just talking ships and playing a little 4.1.
Would you agree with me? Or hope, I don't know how to word this, right? But I would hope it was like the Polaris, and we'll see the externals.
I don't see why that wouldn't be possible.
Because at the moment is on par. Like, when they showed the Polaris at the start of last year in the background, they did the same thing with the Perseus in the background of the Starkit and Pulse. So I'm assuming it's following exactly the same trend.
And let me put out one other reminder about the Perseus, especially versus the Polaris. When they did the exterior work of the Polaris, it took a huge effort because there was no Polaris exterior. They had a very simple mesh the entire time, and all the original concept stuff was actually painted on greebling. It wasn't real geometry. So CIG didn't have an exterior for the Polaris. The Perseus is a new ship from a concept standpoint and was done by Gavin Rothery and has been confirmed by Gavin to me that the Perseus is to scale, to metric, and is and just like the Ironclad, when because he's a modeler, when he models, you're getting like the full detail. So what they're actually doing with the Perseus, unlike the Polaris where they had to create new stuff, with the Perseus they are optimizing and trimming concept detail down to game optimized, game ready detail. So there's going to be a different sort of thing happening with the exterior work of the Perseus versus the Polaris. Like, it's a whole different thing. How that will affect the timeline, I can't say. I'm just saying it's going to be pretty damn different. I think that people, someone who's been following the Polaris for a long time, I think people just didn't quite realize how little there was of the Polaris. Hanger Share, this is Execute from the Info Runners. That is the disembodied voice you hear. By the way, thanks everyone for hanging out tonight.
With that preview image too, I would ask you, if it is RSI, it seems to be hyper modernized a lot more like the Mantis rather than the Perseus or the Constellation series. Like, it seems to be more on the newer end. I don't know if you agree with that.
I would agree.
You play with it. Yeah,
to me, it just
seems
it's got Scorpius vibes to it.
Yeah. Well, I can see Mantis and Scorpius, but
I'm not super familiar with the Mantis, so.
Well, the Mantis is probably the most Star Trek looking ship we have. Within the cells, it's got that white and black tones. And there's no other real ship like it. It is probably the most modernized of all the ships that I've seen from a style-wise guide. Now, I'm not a currently 3D modeling person as you are, but I used to be, and from I'd probably be second to you in that regard. But to me, this is probably closest to the Mantis of any of the ships that I have seen in RSI's lineup. But again, enough rope to hang yourself. So
and I know some people have said, could this be the Drake Heavy Fighter? I don't think so. This looks RSI to me 100% in terms of the paneling. It does not look Drake at all to me. However,
don't get me started on a sideways flying Drake Heavy Fighter. We'll be here for a long time.
I will say though, and I know those of you that watch my streams will know that I feel this way. I do think we're getting something on DefenseCon. I think it's highly likely we're getting a Drake Heavy Fighter, is what I think. I know Execute may disagree with that. I don't think I'm more and more thinking though. But and then in regards to the Ironclad, obviously it's going to be Ironclad or Perseus for Invictus, not both. It won't be both, unless CIG really plans on screwing around with the past patterns.
They would lose so much money. They would never do that. So essentially, here's the thing, right? Let's take all the ships out of it and let's just talk sizes. Traditionally speaking, when shit is not hitting the fan, like what happened with the Fury and shit like that at one of the other Invictuses, they tend to have 3 price points. They have like a small, a medium, and a large. That's what they try to do. Because if you think about it from an accountant perspective, if Little Johnny's only got $100, he can buy the $100 ship. If Little Johnny's only got $50, he can buy the $50 ship. If Little Johnny's got $500, he can buy the really big ship. If Johnny's insane, he can buy all of them, right? So they scale so people can essentially buy what they can afford. And they very often, at almost all the sales, not always, but to give an example, if we look at AIE, the starter ship always comes first.
Actually, I'm switching over here to okay, you all can see it. This is Sickness sent this image. I know you're probably on a delay. It's the Mantis.
See that kind of back area where the QED goes? If you were to change that to be that tail thing in the image, and then put more fins and aggressiveness on the engine on the left, you can see it does kind of line up. Now, and that's what people said to me, and I went, I could buy it, but
it looks because if this is right.
Because if this is a passive, less combat ship, I get it. But how do you make a Mantis look more combat-like? Well, you would make it look more aggressive, would you not?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's possible. I won't say that's it. But Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, I think it's a likely deduction though. I mean,
contender. Yeah, likely contender.
Yeah,
or deduction.
Yeah. By the way, Sarah, I hope you're well. Hopefully, you and your community are doing well. If you had a great stream, if you were streaming, if not, thanks for hanging out.
Oh, that's Hangry Sarah. I've lurked in her channel, but I've never said hello.
Yeah,
I should probably say
Hangry
hello.
Sarah, awesome person.
I think I'm worried she's gonna either get angry at me or eat me. Maybe I'll have to figure out what she's gonna do. But yeah,
only if you break the rules. Let's see here. The Bunkerfist says they also said it's based
you don't know me at all. I break all the rules, bro. What are you talking about? That's exactly why I don't.
Just playing tonight, maybe both. Yeah, it's cool, Sarah. So Bunkerfist says they also said it's based on the platform, not a variant. So they could be changing some geometry more than they. In regards to the sneak peek image, they gave additional information about it. I didn't hear anything about that, unless someone else did.
Who said that about the platform?
Bunkerfist? Bunker, where did they say that?
They said so they could be.
They said in the ship talk last week. That may have been about a different ship, though, right? Very possibly could have been. So, they mentioned the Mantis Heavy Fighter, but that was my only issue with that, though, is that was a concept thing. You know what I mean?
It tends, yeah, but when they find stuff in the, not always, but very often, really early on, if they find something in the files, it's something somebody missed. So when they found the EMP stuff, it was literally like a year ago. So it could have started out as an EMP Mantis and evolved. Now, I'm not saying that's what it is, but again, you can only go on the things that you've got. So stuff that we find in the files, cross-reference with things that we see in front of our face. Yes, they can mislead us, but they also, not always, but very often do point in a direction. And at the moment, we're getting a pointed direction. But yeah,
right.
You're right to be skeptical. But like the way I've got with speculation over the years is look at everything. And I'm growing more and more cautious, I think, as I get older.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like before I go, and now I'm more like, oh, let's look at the possibilities and just explore it all. So
let me ask you this. Let me just jump into this question, because this is a question I get asked every time I stream. I think part of it's because people I know it's my favorite ship, but based off your chat with Ben and John, and I know they didn't just like say they were or not, but after the Ironclad is done and released, what do you think the likelihood is that they're going to move on and like the Kraken will be put up on deck? Not to be like the next ship developed, but like okay, now they're looking at it, not yet more Drake ships. Do you think the Kraken is sort of the target?
Yeah, we did ask them this. They never came out and basically said we will be doing the Kraken, if that's what you want to hear. But what they did kind of say was it allows us to open to do the Kraken.
Yeah.
And Ben basically said, like, John wants the Kraken, I want the Kraken, everyone wants the Kraken.
Yeah.
But they, you know, so we'll end up doing it. It's just a matter of when. And by doing the Ironclad, it allows us to do the Kraken. That's all they kind of really said. But it was like you could tell that they were eager to do it, and I think that being there, let me put it this way: if I knew I was able to do the Kraken as someone, would I then want to put resources into it? And I got the feeling they would want to do it. It's not more of a want. It was just like, would they have people free? Yeah. So you got to look at it like this: like if they're working on the Perseus, right? They've got that big ship team. Are they going to take that big ship team and put them on the Kraken, or are they going to put them on the Galaxy, or what? What is the? And again, you know, I was essentially getting them to read the tea leaves into the future, and they can't always do that because look at all the change that happened at the start of this year. Yeah. You know, so I think they want to do it. I think that is where I'd leave it at that. But they may have other restrictions, so I'll just leave it at that. And that's kind of was what was implied to me in Hagrid. Yeah, they want to, but it's a priority thing. They might just not need the Kraken right now. You know.
And for those that don't know, essentially from what I have learned, they've all but said this. This isn't like inside knowledge really, but essentially there is a Oh, Ender rated with party of 3. Thank you, Ender. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well.
I was about to say the wise bearded one has raided us.
But the what I was going to say is that the CIG there's director meetings where game director, ship director, other directors are all together, probably CR, the whole top brass, and things are decided upon. And so while John and Ben obviously probably have a big hand in making some decisions, especially John, about which ship's coming, a lot of it is probably decided by a multitude of high-level directors. It ties into gameplay coming on board and all that stuff. So
I can actually talk to that. The thing that we kind of learned is they don't always get to decide what they make.
Yeah.
In fact, the thing that was heavily implied to us is something comes down from the design team, and they make a ship for what design tells them to make.
Yeah. Thank you, Cable X. Appreciate it. Cheering for those 300 bits. Appreciate it.
So for example, like, you know how we see a new gameplay, and then we see a ship to go with that gameplay. That is why.
Yeah.
Right? Because they physically need a ship to do the gameplay. They literally, well, if we're making a janitor ship, we need a janitor gameplay. We need a janitor ship, and so you've got to go out and make the ship so they can design it.
Right.
So that's why. And so we kind of was like, so you don't get to choose what you make, and they're like, no, and we're like, shit.
Yeah.
You know, and so it will, the Kraken will be done, putting those two things together when design wants it.
Yeah. When they
so
feel...
we need to find who the design people are, and
yeah,
I don't know.
And
we need to motivate them.
And
Heavily motivate these people.
And I think that, and I think there is some, and I think sometimes it can probably be gameplay related. As a matter of fact, I think 98% of the time. Thank you, Eskimonian. Appreciate it. I am feeling better. Still sometimes getting fatigued, but mostly better. But I think 98% of the time, for sure, it's game design, right? Game design needs it. It's a good time. However, I think there's probably other times too where they just look and say, hey, we need a big showstopper ship for this year to come out. Like last year was the Polaris. There was a year where it was like the Carrack was the big ship that released that year. There's things like that too, where that they know that will pick up some press or get the community excited. I think that could factor into it. Not a lot, but maybe like a percentage point, of consideration. And I think that to some degree, CIG does want to, even if it's limited, they want to cater to fan service a little bit. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gotten a Star Kit and Pulse and Racing Suit. I think there's always a little bit of that going on. But even going to what you were saying, I think too with the whole limited ships, it even gets a little bit more interesting, right? Because you're devoting a lot of resources to a ship that has a limited. It's going to affect a limited amount of players, right? But again, I think if it's an important enough a ship, like the Idris, let's take that, or even the Javelin, even though not everyone owns it and they're limited, people are going to be excited to see them come into the game. And I think that probably counts for something. Again, I think it's primarily gameplay, of course. Primarily gameplay. So, yeah. I don't know, though. I think, yeah, and to me, me either, Hangry. And here's my opinion, and Execute, I don't know how you feel. And this is part of the reason why I get excited about big ships coming into the game. And not even necessarily ships I'm necessarily even interested in. So, Star Lancer, which I love now, but when it came out, I was kind of like, oh, interesting. Is that when the CIG ship team is able to pump out bigger ships, more of them, in addition to their usual smattering of smaller ships and vehicles, to me it shows that they're finding efficiencies, that they're working better, that they're, you know what I mean, that the team is growing, things are healthy, if they can push out work like that. And not only push out work, but push out really amazing work. Again, I think the Polaris, to me, was again a testament to the ship team. But it doesn't end there. The Star Lancer was really great. I mean, I think they nailed that ship. A few little quibbles, but they really nailed it. And so it's the same thing when we see like really big gameplay milestones come in or core tech milestones. You get excited to see that cross the finish line because you're like, okay, finally they accomplished something there. Same thing with the whole sea. When that finally came in game, I think even people that didn't own it were like, okay, finally. Goddamn, whole season.
It was also the tech that unlocked for other ships. Like, you got to realize, and I think this is what you're trying to say. Every step they complete is another step towards something else, and often, getting to like I remember they talked about the whole sea tech unlocked a whole bunch of things for other ships, including the Caterpillar and a whole bunch of other stuff. I got to ask real quick: is that the new skin for the Corsair, the black and gold one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been able to try it because I don't have a Corsair right now.
I love
it.
Have
the skin.
It's an awesome skin. I would love for them to come out for more ships. I dig it. I really dig it. They did a good job on it.
No, I brought that limited bundle too because that bundle I think is going to be really valuable. And I was going to buy 5 of them, and then I realized they were not war bond, and they were war bond, and I went shit. Damn it.
Yeah. And actually, where am I going here? Yeah, and you got the rifle, the new Parallax rifle, which is cool, and you got the armor and stuff. That was pretty cool. I would have bought it for the Polaris or the Corsair paint alone because Corsair is one of my favorite ships. But yeah,
I don't like the glow in the dark horns on the armor. I just wish they were gold. Yeah.
Gold would have been cooler.
But I like the armor. Yeah.
I've actually seen a lot of people wandering around in all kinds of glowing outfits. I don't know if a lot of other glowing outfits came or if there's some sort of graphic bug. But
was the RSI that RSI suit they did for Best in Show? It had like purple neon lights on it. I see that a lot of places.
Yeah. By the way, everyone, I'm just landing at Tressler and setting that as a landing zone, and then I'm going to fly down. It's always interesting when they do these packs, like the Downburst pack, that where it was the paint for the Corsair, the armor set, and the gun. I'd be really fascinated to know how they choose the ship for that, because what I would have loved if they would have had at least like 3 or 4 different ship paints you could choose from, because again, this pack is really limited to people that own the Corsair, so it's like. It's kind of a weird one to me, and I always wonder how CIG makes that decision.
You know exactly how it's done. It's called money.
Yeah, but like, why the Corsair and not a different
Because then
ship?
they can make it again for the different ship and sell that too.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's they went. This is kind of a piratey themed skin. It's a pirately themed event as the Orbital Assault. So we'll pick the most popular pirate ship in the game because most kills with this was 92% of ships when they nerfed it.
Yeah.
They knew a lot of people owned it, so they made it for this.
Yeah.
Well, they have data on everything. We learned that as well. Like they knew how cheap my Polaris was, shit like that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. So they have all that stuff. So all the shit that we're teaching you, they know.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they do. I know you were very surprised. I was very surprised by the Gollum pricing.
Yes, I was very happily surprised though. Someone asked me, "Were you shocked by the pricing?" And I said, "Surprised, but welcome it." That we're always after stuff that's good value. And through the testing I've been doing over the weekend, because we're going to record that later today. I gotta go to a friend's in a show in about 45 minutes. I'm gonna have to leave in about 15 to 20 minutes.
Nice.
And I gotta go to that show. But then when I get back, me and Agard are gonna record the episode. But
nice.
No,
by the way, thanks for letting me pop into your stream the other day. Hopefully I didn't disturb, but it's always fun to pop in, even if it's just for a minute.
As Agard would always say, we always like to talk ship, and I know you like the same. I'm happy to go back and forth and talk with people. I love it.
I'm sorry, everyone, but the Corsair is still one of my favorite ships. It's aggressive. It's mean. I love it. All right. Oh, by the way, here's the name of my Corsair, if anyone was wondering. And if anyone can tell me what the reference is, you win a gold star. There's the name.
Silverhawk. Oh, Ebonhawk? No.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
It's from pop culture. I'll say it that. Silverhawk.
I'm not googling it now or anything.
It's all good. I don't know
just-
if it was I don't know if it was something that kind of existed outside of America though, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I just watched a documentary on Taco Bell and what's funny.
Oh, Hawkett got it. Hawkett in chat got it. There was a 1980s cartoon called Silverhawks.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
That's what
It
it based
came
off of.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot more sense when my Corsair is silver. But yeah, that's it. Nice job. Nice job.
Well, I'll ask you the question back then. Do you know what the Ebon Hawk is?
No, it sounds familiar though, but what is that?
It's Kyle Katarn's ship from Jedi Fallen. Was it Jedi Academy?
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Do you know the guy I'm talking about?
Yes.
Kyle Katarn? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So as soon as I heard Hawk, I just went, "Oh, Ebon Hawk."
Yeah. Very cool. Do I have to?
But they're talking about making him what do you call it? Like a real thing. Because he's come up in a lot of characters from the show, from the games. A lot of the races and stuff appeared in live action now.
Yeah. Very cool.
Anyway,
do I have to? Room 5. Do I have to go all the way to a room to set my medical thing, or can I? I thought there was a kiosk
no.
to go to.
No, there's like 3 sets of kiosks in there. One's the pharmacy, one's the room you select to heal yourself, and the last one, go back.
Oh,
it'll be outside on the right hand side.
Oh yeah, here it is. Yep,
yeah,
got it.
over there.
Thanks.
Yeah,
thanks.
It is confusing. They need
look for.
I know they got signs, but it doesn't.
Yeah,
I think that's the problem with a lot of the signs are set for the future. They're not set for now. So, like when they finally changed the name of CCUs to upgrades, like it made so much more sense. There's a lot of ones like that they like. One of the ones that pissed me off to no end is they call it CitizenCon 2952. It'd be fine if it was 3025. I'd have no problem, right? It would work. But when it's 29 random fucking number that I have to math in my head, you've already lost me, right? Let's call it CitizenCon 2024 or 2025 this year. I'll be doing, and until they fix it, that's what I'm going to do because it doesn't work.
I was telling everyone in chat though that I am working on 2 new. If you remember my pre-recorded Shipyard videos that I used to do, I'm doing 2 more. One on the Genesis Starliner, and that one's a little bit more like what could this ship end up being, because I think it's going to be massively reconcepted. But the other one I'm doing is on the Nautilus, and that's more of an information dump one.
No, come on, let's be honest. That's more for you than anyone else.
It's more for me, yeah. But although I went back and watched the Nautilus video back when it originally went on concept sale or whatever, and John Crusates, and I'm hoping this gives me a leg up in this ship actually one day coming to the verse. But John Crew does say that the Nautilus is really the one of the most classic Chris Roberts type of ships to be in a game.
Nice.
I forget his exact words, but it was something like that. And I think it's just because in Freelancer and stuff like that, mine lane or mine lane ships were a thing, or maybe it was a different game. I don't know. I don't know the old Chris Roberts games.
On a mine-related note, I can't remember who I was talking to during the week, so you've just jogged my memory about something. But a vehicle that does mines would be really easy to do right now.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And that would give you, especially with the base building going in, and we know that they want to do turrets and stuff. It's not a hop, skip, and a jump to do a variant that can drop mines and deploy mines. Yeah,
that's not. Yeah, absolutely. That's actually a good question. What do you think's the next industrial ship we're going to get? Although we might be done with industrial ships for a little bit now that it's Workers' Week, and we're going into a combat phase, and then we'll see.
So what I'm hoping for, right? It's that science, right? Science is after I don't know if you saw the episode we did with Morph that we brought out like last week.
I did. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's a great episode, actually. I love those kind of discussion topics like that.
Yeah. So one thing that was really clear is just how integral scanning is to science and a lot of things in game.
Yeah. Well, when I dialed into your show the other day, I even said the same thing. That's critical. You know, it's critical.
Yeah. So my hope would be you said non-industry. The next gameplay I'd be hoping for is I've been wanting scanning for the longest time.
Yeah.
Because once that scanning comes in, no matter what the ship is, even if it was only tied to one ship, right? Pirates would start using it to find people. Because right now it's really like people hate pirates right now, right? They're like, God, stand the bills, pain in the ass. They interrupt my enjoyment, right? But what it will then do is force those people to hire escorts.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, Zotobe.
And as soon as that happens, we are off to the races, baby. Because we have those two combat people fighting over that thing of value, and the whole cycle kicks off.
Yeah.
You've got that base core gameplay loop.
Literally, you tell me a gameplay loop, and I'll tell you why we desperately need scanning for it. Whether it's bounty hunting, which is kind of obvious, to base building. Again, we need to find resources to build your bases. Literally every single gameplay loop ties into scanning, or should tie into scanning in a major way. And that kind of gives you clues on what type of, like, for example, with scanning, I would think, I don't know if they've ever said this, maybe you could tell me, but I would think there should be different types of computer blades or scanning apparatus that can help scan for certain types of things, or maybe that is to the ship. So maybe certain ships.
All we
can
have at the
scan for
moment is different levels of computers and stuff like that.
Okay.
We have different scanners that are on the outside of ships, but I think that's the other reason why this is taking a while.
Yeah.
Because they are probably going to have to add or remove things from certain ships and stuff like that. Like, you know how we heard about the emitter when the railing was coming out?
Yeah.
I think potentially you're going to, because I think every ship's going to have like a local scanner, which is that 25 kilometer range we have in game right now.
Yeah. I just hit my wing on the top of the hangar because I thought I lowered my wings already. It's called not paying attention.
No. You're flying a giant pizza box. I keep telling you about this ship, and look at it. Look at where the wings up. It's a giant floating. You take a pizza box and you pull open the lid. That is the Corsair.
But it looks so cool. It looks so.
It'll be heaps cooler when the flight model comes in.
To me, it's the most Star Wars ship of all the ships. By the way, to me,
it's definitely the Imperial shuttle. That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, I am looking for Shubin Mining Facility 18. That's where I'm going to go. Okay. Yeah, so let me ask you this. I don't know if you saw, but there were some more updates and stuff to the CSV FM, the fabrication version, so the base building version that had come out in 4.1, including some additional modeling elements and stuff, mesh elements and stuff. So my question to you is, and while I don't think it's coming out anytime soon, do you think that when we get towards the end of the year, towards IAE, CitizenCon or whatever, do you think the focus will shift back on major content coming into the game, and thus at the end of the year we're going to see a lot of ships go on sale that will tie into that content?
I'm not sure, because this year was one of the biggest fundamental course corrections I think we've ever seen in the game. They're going from this, let's just do everything at long range and fix it all at the end. Now they're going like, we're going to build it and do it as we go along. That's like a complete almost about face.
Yeah.
But in regards to base building, at the end of last year, multiple kind of CI devs words to the effect of, it's coming sooner than you think.
Yeah.
Right? I do think what happened at the start of this year changed that. But let's say it doubled that time frame.
Yeah.
And let's say, for argument's sake, we were meant to get it mid-year. How far down the road does that then push it? Does it make it the end of the year? Does it make it a whole extra year? I cannot tell you that.
Right.
But I think I would agree it's before 1.0. And 1.0 has to be before Squadron 42 in 2026.
Yeah.
So there's your end date. There's your max range.
Oh, wait a second. What was the last thing you said on before Squadron?
What Star System 1.0 has to come before, like, at the same time Squadron comes out.
You think so?
I think it is I think that's the whole reason we're seeing this shift. They're realizing that they cannot release Star Citizen in its state with this bad rep, because the bad rep of Star Citizen can squash the rep of Squadron 42 before it even begins.
Well,
So-
I agree with that. I mean, I've been saying that
Yeah.
Star Citizen is the biggest anchor around the neck of Squadron 42, and vice versa. And this whole year of gameplay polish to me is because Star Citizen and I'm not talking about when Squadron releases. I'm talking about when the marketing campaign for Squadron starts, which will be 6 months earlier than that at a minimum.
Yeah.
You cannot have an unplayable PU when you're trying to market a AAA game.
I think that's begun this week, by the way. If you go on to, I'll send you the com link. Just give me a second.
Yeah.
I'm getting very close to having to leave, by the way. But
yeah, no worries. You leave when you gotta leave, buddy. No worries.
Yeah.
Hope you're well too.
Give me a second.
Been making some great content lately, man. I've been really enjoying it as usual. Goes without saying.
Look, okay, so we recorded one last week, right? We did a Can We Fix It? Can you guess what it was on?
No.
And at the time, I was like, this is horseshit. I don't want to do this, Paul and Agrid. And guess what it was? It's
What?
the Rock DS.
Oh, nice.
So it turned out that it's going to probably be pretty fucking poignant. Anyway, so they were right. I was wrong. I'll admit when I'm wrong. So I just sent you that com link.
Okay.
But I think this is the start of the hype train for Squadron 42. They are literally taking the rarest of the rare item, which is a Vandal Scythe. And I have to spell this out for a lot of people because not a lot of people understand.
Switch over to my left monitor real quick.
But the Vandal Scythe, right, is before Asperia came along, right? So it is not a replica like all the others, right? And the replicas have LTI. They're built by Asperia. They're essentially a fake, right?
Yeah.
The Vandal Scythe is actually made by the Vandal. It was, and as they say in the story, it's made of reclaimed parts. It is a real Vandal Scythe, right?
Oh, so
with
this
LTI,
this is a chance to get one of the real ones.
Yeah, one of the real ones. Now, just so you know, on our stream yesterday, someone went and looked at the prices for me because I haven't looked in a really long time.
Yeah.
And it was 3.6K. $3,600 these go for. And they've got 3 of them up for grabs, right? So if you can get one of them, go do it because that is the rare item that no one will be able to obtain.
Yeah, and
that's why they go for so much. And it's the one thing I wish I'd brought out of everything in the entire game because I had a chance to buy one and I went, no, these are too expensive. But shit, no one's ever going to want that. And I was wrong straight across the board.
And don't forget that you're going to get the redone ones, learn how to talk
Updated
here. The
graphics
updated ones, which are going to be really slick. So,
but
yeah, it's exciting. That's
but
cool.
being
I
a
didn't
real
realize
Vandal-
I didn't realize they did that.
So you can get a Vandal Scythe in game, but you can't insure it. So once you have it, because it's so hard to get, you've actually got to go out, find a Vandal, you've got to disable their ship, you've got to take their ship from them, and then you've got to fly it all the way back after you've just damaged it. And you've got to, you have to repair it by hand because you can't buy parts for this thing. So it's a pain in the ass to get one, right? So if you get one fully restored, they are going to be so valuable, you are never going to take it out of your hangar.
Oh, yeah.
Or you can be one of these people that have got LTI on theirs.
And
So you can fly around and not give a shit. They're the only ones you're ever going to see.
Yeah, and I can guarantee that in the future when you can learn blueprints, you probably will be able to learn this one, but it's probably going to be a monumental task to earn the right to buy it or steal it or whatever. It's going to be like a huge rep grind probably to get like a Vandal ship. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it probably won't be until after episode 3.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm in and around
I think by then we'll be friends with the Vandal.
Yeah, I could see that.
If you know the fall of Rome, that's what I'm alluding to.
Gotcha.
Do you know what happened in the fall of Rome?
No. Enlighten me.
So essentially what happened, I don't know the exact thing, but they literally called them the Vandals. Just take one U out of Vandal, and that's what it is, right? But essentially, I think it was the Gauls were behind them, and they were attacking the Vandals and pushing them into Rome. And so the Vandals were attacking the Romans. And if you think about everything you know about the Vandal, we don't know their homeworld, they are nomadic, blah, blah, blah. That's because they're being pushed out of their system and into ours.
Oh,
and
okay.
I think what'll happen is the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So I think eventually episode 3, we will learn this and go to them and say, how about this for a deal? We'll join with you and take the fuck out of this new enemy.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, every other race in the game, so the Zion, we know about the Kathak, or what are they called? And the Badu have one behind them as well. Why wouldn't we know about the one behind the Vandal? Oh, that's right, because it's the secret.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, it's
makes sense.
Paul reckons I'm onto something too with regards to the Cathath as well, because they mention between the Zion and Cathath there is a spirit war on. Now, if you're a robot, you don't have a soul.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? So, and there's no robots in Star Citizen. I think the Cathath are robots.
Ah, interesting.
And I think the reason why the Zion hate them is they're kind of soulless. And they can't, and because they do a lot of trading and commerce in the Zion, they can't trade with these people because they're just robots.
Yeah,
like it's so that's why they're in a spirit war, because these guys don't have a spirit. Anyway,
that makes sense. That's interesting.
Paul and I think I'm onto something there too, but again, like I could be completely wrong. But anyway, right, man, I am gonna have to go. I've got to go to my friend's.
Take
he's
it easy.
He's in a show play, and he's really nervous. So I'm going to go there and support him.
Well, good supporting, and we'll talk soon. We'll talk this week.
All right.
All right, buddy.
Take care, bud.
Talk to you later.
Yep.
See you. All right, everybody. Hope you're all well. Jaybird says, got to take off. Night, folks. Jaybird, hope you have a great night. Thanks for hanging out tonight a little bit with us. By the way, everyone, sorry I keep hitting escape. I'm just moving some windows around. I'm trying to find Copion. Am I just scanning for them? I see some unknown markers. Maybe those are Copions? Aleki, yeah. I'm just casually doing it tonight. I'll go ahead and warn you. So if I don't get any, that's okay. But I'll definitely take tips. Please do. I've never gone hunting for these damn things. So I did kill a lot in Fight for Pyro inside the outpost, but they were so bugged they just stood there. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I did that's what I did in Fight for Pyro, and you're right. There's a ton of them there. I should do that, actually. Because those bases are pretty fun to clear, actually. It's unknown. These are granite deposit. Hell, I should have just brought the mining ship out here and did some mining. Sorry, everyone. I'm doing some searching for Copion right now. I know they're supposed to be out in this area, apparently. Usually the non-snowy areas. I wonder if I need to go where maybe I'm a little too tundra. Let me get out of the snowy areas here. I think I need to go this way a little bit. Tomificated says, is it possible to get a perspective of the ironclad? Standing beneath it, there's a sense of scale the ship viewers don't give us. Yeah, I could try to. Here in a minute. Tommy, because I'll need to go into 3D for that. If you could give me 10 minutes, I could open the ironclad in Cinema 4D, and we can put a Star Citizen person there, and we could put the camera in their head, and that can kind of give you a good indication. So I'm taking. Aleki says, "Good at your career near place straight." Okay, cool. I just screenshotted that, Aleki. I'll definitely take that advice. Someone else told me where to go look around here, so I'm just giving it a shot. I mean, it may not work, but let's see what's up in here. I got something 1.5. Let's see what this is. That's Marox, Fearfly. Those are deposits. I talked to someone there, like, oh yeah, oh wait, some Forced Copion right there, I see it. Forced Copion, we found some, everybody. Okay, here we go, where are they? Not too far, but they're also down here. They're in the thick of it too, aren't they? It's going to be really difficult to try to land, but I might can land right here. I'm going to point my ship towards them so I know where they're at. Hey, the Clever Bard. Thank you for that follow. Appreciate it. What is my ship? Oh, Lord. Terrible landing. Sorry, everybody. How embarrassed I am. I'm representing STARJUMP here. There we go. Is my gear down? It should be geared. I lowered the gear. Oh, yeah, it's down. It's just hard to tell this shit. Thank you for that follow, the Clever Bar. Appreciate it. By the way, everyone, if you're watching the channel and you haven't given the Twitch channel a follow, please do that. I really appreciate it. I consider it a an amazing thing you're doing. And if you're on YouTube, give me a subscribe over there. Appreciate it. Dragon Killers, thank you very much. Salute to you. Appreciate that. You all are amazing, seriously. All right, let's try this. Yeah, I don't have the armor on, but I have the new paint, the Corsair paint. I love it. I'm not gonna lie, I really like it. It was a luxury purchase. I mean, it was $30 for a gun, a paint, and a armor. I didn't even really like the armor. I just, I love the Corsair. So Clever Bar just cheered 200 bits. Thank you, Clever. Appreciate that. Salute to you. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate the support, everyone. By the way, the support, everybody, really pushes me to continue making content. I hope you all enjoy it. We'll be back. I'll be back on Tuesday, by the way, with a new Shipyard episode, and we'll start off our St. Jude Play Live event, and we'll have a STARJUMP station next week on Thursday, a slightly different day, but that's because I'll be traveling next weekend, so... Okay, why did that not kill that Copion? Okay, we might be good here. One Copion horn. Another Copion horn. I like to pick these up because my good buddy Ender is horny for Copion horn. So, let's see. So I'm reading all the chats, by the way. I'm reading all the chats. They're in a restream thing, so I'm seeing them. I actually can barely tell which one of you are in Twitch and which one of you are on YouTube. So, Subgenius, you know I love you. By the way, FS9, killing it as usual. Tundra Copions are the brown areas at the transition between mountain and plain. These are the forest. Oh, okay. These are the forest. Gotcha. Okay. You don't need tundra. You need tundra, not forest. Oh, okay. I don't need those horns. Okay. Well, that's not a big deal. I do want the tundra ones, but it's okay that I got the wrong ones because I was more just like trying stuff out tonight. I didn't even know the servers were going to work tonight, so. All right, CIG, we got some floating rocks here. We need to work on that. So the Tundra Copions are in the brown areas at the transition between mountain and plain. Okay, gotcha. I will keep an eye out for that. I'll keep an eye out for that. Rock mining work yet? It should. It should. I'm not currently rock mining, but it should. I did want to check real quick how the last night it wasn't. Interesting. Well, hopefully they'll get it to work because this entire event needs mining to work, so okay, let's I wanted to try out my suit here out on ground. I've only if you see boreal grazers, you're in the right zone. Okay, cool. Thanks for the tip, guys. Appreciate it. Do appreciate that. Yeah, tonight was more just like trying some stuff out, seeing if the servers even freaking worked, you know. Tell you, this thing does really get around pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. What's everyone's opinion on the Atlas Geo? Yeah, Dan, I agree with you. If people are having that much issue, then yeah, I would agree. There needs to be a maintenance window. They never made a concierge paint for the Corsair. No, they didn't. They didn't. I would have bought it for sure. The Corsair launch, by the way, still bothers me a little bit. The trailer was kind of and there was no concierge paint, so there was a few issues with it, I thought. Yeah, this thing's cool. I like it. Dang, it's kind of crazy how fast it is in thruster mode, actually. Not to tell them to nerf it, but I would be shocked if they didn't bring that down a little bit, but it's very, like, very responsive. But man, what a lifesaver. It makes you want to take an Atlas if you're going into an area just where you're a little unsure of the terrain, just as a safety, right? Because at least it gives you that extra layer of protection. I dig it. I am currently working on the Atlas, by the way, everyone, for Fleet Viewer. The Atlas Geo, I mean. And I aim to get it done sometime early in the week. Starlet does have the Gollum. She will get to that as soon as she can. She's currently juggling a few real-life things. But they're done. They're getting integrated. All right, let's fly up to Tressler. I want to park there. And then if you all want, I'm not sure how everyone feels about it. If you want, we can open 3D and we can take a look at the ironclad scale and see how that looks. So we did technically go Copion hunting. We didn't kill the right Copion, but damn it, we did some Copion hunting. Okay, Eskimonian says yes. All right, here we go. We're flying up, everybody. Let me get Tressler in mind here. You know, going back to the Corsair. I just love the Corsair. I love the vibe of it. It's got that kind of renegade. To me, it is the true Millennium Falcon of Star Citizen, not the Star Runner. It's this ship. It's the kind of the vagabond ship that's heavily, you know, outfitted. I don't know. It's just got, to me, it's got the ultimate Star Wars vibes, like Rebel Star Wars vibes. Yeah, Subgenius, that's a great point. I really don't think, especially when we're dealing with Death of a Spaceman and how all that's going to work, I really don't understand how anyone would risk... is my gear down? Better not. Yes, it is. Sorry. I really don't see how anyone would risk going anywhere without a Geo on them. That's why I actually wish the standard Atlas got the thrusters as well. I know it got arrestor thrusters, but I don't think it got like the jetpack variant, or like the rocket versions. I think they're a little different, right? Has anyone tested that? Does the standard Atlas, does it perform like the Geo, or does it perform differently? Let me know if you all have tried that. I'd be curious. Atlas has thrusters. Yeah, they added thrusters to the Atlas, but I don't think it is the type that allow you to shoot up. I think if you're just falling down, they'll put out a little thrust to like stop your fall from killing you. That's what I thought, but I'm not 100% sure. Can anyone confirm that? I do have an Atlas, just not here. Tomified says the Atlas is not jump capable. Oh. Okay. They added thrusters to the model, though, so I thought they were adding that ability. Because they did add thrusters to the model. Okay, Atlas falls slower now, but it's bugged. Okay, so what it's supposed to happen is those thrusters are supposed to be, I guess, an automatic thing that are supposed to slow your fall, essentially. Okay. So there was so the Atlas did get a change. It's just not, it's not like the Geo. It's just a slightly different, they're going about it a slightly different way. Where is my, gosh, I wish the UI would just stay on. Okay. Alright. We'll go land Corsair here, and then we can open 3D. It has thruster mounts, but they're not there. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if it's just bugged or what's going on with that. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Stand by, everybody. We're just going to land here, and then we will open up 3D, and we can do some model checking. You know, CIG, you really got to light up some of these stations. Ships have lights all over them now, but some of the stations are just so dark. So, ship leaving. There's still that cool moment where you see ships coming and going in this game, and you're just like, that's cool. That is cool, you know? I really can't wait till we can decorate the interior of our ships with the decorator mode. That's going to be really cool. Okay. Ash says, probably share the same skeleton now, the Atlas and Geo. Yeah, definitely. I'm sure they do. Or share skeleton or rigging references that are very almost one-to-one, I would imagine. Very close to. How's 4.1 been for everyone so far? This is the first night. Tonight was really just to see if the game functioned. The other day, it literally did not work for me. It didn't work for me at all.
Your vehicle has been moved to us to please visitors again.
My Corsair. I still like to go over and watch it go down. Is that weird? Okay, just a minute, everyone. You're probably wondering why I'm going to the lobby and not just logging out, because I've noticed I have less issues with my ship being able to be reclaimed when I go to the lobby. I don't know why. Oh, Lord. Yowza. Okay, all right, let's, real quick here, I'm going to switch back to full face here for again. I'm really bright. Okay. All right, let me get a few things set up here, and then we can check out the, thing. I'm going to have to blow my nose for a second here while I'm shutting the game down and opening 3D software, so bear with me. All right, back. Sorry you all have to suffer through the nose blows. Okay. Okay, let me bring up 3D. Now, someone had asked about the Ironclad earlier. Who was that asked about the Ironclad earlier? Let me know. And while you answered that, I am bringing up some stuff here. I want to be able to have all my windows ready to properly do 3D because that is a whole thing. for those of you who've never been one of my streams before, we quite often we'll open the ships in 3D and we can check scales and stuff like that. Friendly and Geeks, yeah, doing a late nighter tonight. A little bit of a late nighter. I had nothing to do tonight. I spent a little time with my wife, and then she ended up going to bed, and I kind of had nothing going on. So I said, you know what? Let's stream for the community. Okay, here we go. Stand by, everyone. I am opening. Our thing here. Okay, here we go. We're in 3D. Tomificated says, I asked for some perspective shots. I am also Clever Bard on Twitch. Okay, cool. All right, here we go. See, Ironclad. I think we can probably get rid of a few of these Ironclads. Okay, and where is our top hanger? There we go. There we go. It's Ironclad. Okay. So the only thing I don't have tomificated is the landing gears deployed. I don't have that. And then the landing gears are on here. You can see them right here. Right here, you can see the landing gears, but they're not deployed. These are. I'm waiting to see what these are. I think these are additional landing gears. I wish this was a side entryway into the cargo bay, but I think it's just the front one up here. But you know, the landing gears on the ship, we have some here and here, and I think these are as well. You can see the massive downward-facing VTOLs here. It's got a bunch there, and some integrated there. The Kraken is supposed to have very similar downward-facing VTOLs. Okay, let me bring in a player model. Friendly, do they plan on making a ship to carry my Polario? Your Polaris? Okay, sorry. I'm looking for player character model, so stand by. Where's VMXEO when you need him? Okay. Okay, we're going to use this. This is our player. Delete and use materials. Stand by, everyone. Stand by, everyone. I don't want the joints. Why is my armature in there? Okay, and sorry, I'm just looking at the rig here. Okay, there we go, because I don't need all that. Okay. Okay, so first we need to check we're at metric. So to check that we're at metric, we need to switch our player space to meters, which I'm already in. We're going to drop in a cube. This cube is something we can measure. It has measurements right over here. They're probably really small. Sorry about that. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to make this cube the length of the Ironclad to double check its measurements here. Let me go into a side view here, turn off cameras. Okay, here is our box, and you can see I'm pretty much to length. Okay, so this box is 119.8 meters. We're not being super accurate, so let's say 120 meters, which is the length of the Ironclad. So our Ironclad is to metric, so no issues there. Next, we need to go to our little player character, and we need to do the same thing. We need to double check that the player character is a certain height to make sure we are correct on scale here. Bear with me, everybody. So just part of it. It's a little awkward, but that's how I'm doing it. Yep, that's pretty much the height of it. Player characters in Star Citizen are 1.8 meters tall. That if anyone's ever wondered how tall the player is, how tall your head is at 1.8 or 1.7.5 or 1.75 meters tall. So 1.8 meters essentially overall tall to top of head, not counting helmet. And this is a 1.8.48 meters. So yeah, so our player character is 2 metric. And you can kind of tell that because, you know, if you took like this top turret up here, you can see that a character model, just to give you an idea, I mean, it's very obvious that a character model could fit inside this little turret. You know what I mean? Sitting down could fit in there. So it also gives you a little bit of a sense of how big the ironclad is. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a floor and make our floor. Okay, we're going to make our floor down to about gear level, which is going to be not quite there. It's going to be around there. Okay, that's where the floor is roughly going to be. Okay, and then we're going to take our player character. Sorry, everyone. This takes a little bit of a minute. I'm a little clumsy with this tonight, everybody, just because I wasn't prepared to do this. So. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a camera. I'm going to drop this camera into our player character. Let me turn cameras on real quick. Here's our little camera. Let's drag our camera up to where the head is. And let's face it the right way. So here's our camera. So imagine this is the player character acting as the camera. That makes sense. Let's turn off cameras now. Okay, so we have our player character, we have the camera, so let's go into the head of our character. So if I take this out, you can see we'll kind of like go into the head of our character. And let me turn us around. So let me create a null. This will be our camera target, which will allow us to look around a little easier. Again, I'm not totally set up for this, Tom, on the cuff tonight, so bear with me. But this is how big the ironclad is going to sort of look when you're looking around. If this is the floor right here, obviously your landing gears will be down, but it's a big ship. I mean, this is not a small ship at all. So actually, you know what I'll do? I will. Sorry, I know it's not super great, but like if you're walking into a hangar, for example, it's probably going to be very similar to something like. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. It's going to be like walking in like this. Okay, you have a big hangar here that you can go in. You can kind of get a sense. Yeah, you can get a sense. I don't actually. What is the field of view? I forget what the field of view. VMXEO, you're not in chat, are you? Probably not. VMXEO would know the field of view. What is the field of view? I don't know the field of view. Is it 50? 50 degrees? Something like that, maybe? That's a good question. I don't know what the field of view is actually for this. But anyway, if we get out of here, if like we were go to the side, for example, let me come out. The scales are so crazy sometimes in Star Citizen ships. Let me move our character to like more over to the side here, and we'll go back in the thing. All right. So essentially, yeah, like if you're looking at the bottom here, you're gonna see, you know, this is the ship here. You're gonna look down this way. It's a beast. You can see the little opening here. These are like some little wrought iron things. There's actually a door over here. But you know, you can like look up. I mean, it's a big ship. This thing is not going to be small. Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Did I mess my camera up? I feel like I did. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, yes, I did. I did. I screwed my camera up. Okay. Just a minute, everyone. I messed my camera up. There we go. Just get it out here a little bit. So it's something like that. Yeah. Let's see. So, sorry, someone put, Tom K says 200 to 220 horizontally. Oh God, is it that? That is not right in here. In this software, it's not right. It's going to be something different for cinema. What's the focal length? I thought that was that supposed to be 50? VMXEO told me this before. Can't remember what it was. We went over this one time. I just totally forget what it is. But yeah, either way, when you look at this ship, it's a big monster, right? It's a big monster of a ship. There is a entryway over here, and you can see, as a matter of fact, you can see if I take the little player character here. As a matter of fact, I will make this a little brighter to where you can see our guy a little better. If I take our little guy here, move him up, you can kind of see right here, this is to scale. So here he is standing on this little entryway. I think there's going to be a ladder or something here that allows us to get up, something like that. But there's a little walkway here, and there's a door right here that we're going to be able to go into. Obviously, I'm using very rough models here and stuff. It's right there. So, yeah, I thought it was 50 millimeter that we found, Tom, in the files for the reference. I forget exactly what it is, but I think it's 50. I think you're right. Yeah. There again, some of you may have saw that like there is there's images and stuff of people like or of like people standing on the top of the ship. The ship's interesting. It's got let me go back here. There's like catwalks up here. So I'm hoping like other Drake ships, see the catwalk right here? I'm hoping like other Drake ships that it allows us to that there's a rooftop exit, because you will see, and I'll show you where I think there's a door. So you see right here? I think this is a door. Now this is just a hollow model right here, but I think this is actually a door. I'll just put a texture on it for now so we can see it. But I think that's a door, and I think that lets out over here. And then from up here, I think you're going to be able to walk around the top of the ship, just like you saw in the concept art. So yeah, I think that's the door. In the hollow model, that's the only bit of geometry they have for it. But this is just the hollow model. We know that there's, you know, they're working on the ship, so you'll be able to get up there and whatnot. So yeah, turret underneath. Oops, let me delete the floor real quick. Turret underneath. Big giant retro thrusters. A lot of engines because this is Drake and we don't play. Big front ramp. Single turret up front for the armored cargo variant. The assault, as you know, Yeah, Tom, it's one of the things I love about the Corsair. It's such a just a small little thing, but to me, it really gives this ship something. Um, Now I can't remember. Was there a separate model for the assault? I can't remember. And the hollow viewer. Sometimes the hollow viewer models, by the way, everyone, utilize the same model. They don't differentiate. Sometimes. Okay, so bear with me. So on the Salt variant, obviously some differences, of course. There is the quad turret setup here, so it's actually got a lot of turrets on the front, a lot of extra weaponry. You can see some of the cladding a little better here. So it looks like there's going to be a lot of walkways and stuff on the top of the ship, which I really dig. I think that's going to be cool. Most everything else is the same about the ship in terms of its structure. They did say that the ship will have a slightly bigger opening here where the ramp is. Those will facilitate bigger vehicles like the Nova tank. Clever Bard, thank you very much for those bits. I appreciate it. Salute to you. Or Tom, whatever. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. But the hollow model did not have that detail in there. The hollow models don't always have all the detail in them, and that's all I have for this ship is a hollow model at this stage. Unfortunately. And then obviously, command module will be able to separate and fly on its own, leaving the rest of this to still be able to do work. So you could actually disconnect, like if this thing's loading cargo, this could disconnect. That's why I hope they give this a tractor beam. And this could maybe, with a tractor beam, could even help load cargo while people in the and I'm talking the regular version, not this not the assault version. Like if we go back to the regular version, like if you, what I would love for them to do is give the command module on here a tractor beam so that you could have people loading from the command deck while this ship is doing tug work, bringing boxes over for this group to then grab hold of with their ship, with the ship-based tractor beams. That's what I would personally love. I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't know if they're going to do that. Alaki says, I really hope we can control the ship from the top, middle, and not the detachable. So, yeah. So, obviously, for those that know the Ironclad, the ship is not going to be flyable, at least from what they've told us, is not going to be flyable from that command module area, or sorry, not the command module, from the command center area, which is sort of right here. It's sort of the center bridge. That disappointed me a little bit too. I would love if we could still get the ability to control it from there, to be quite honest with you. Roughgaming.com gave out 2 community subs. Rough Gaming, thank you very much. Giving you the double salute. Really appreciate that. Where's my double salute emoji? There it is. All right, you're getting the double salute. Very nice. Thank you very much. I appreciate that support. Again, you all are amazing. Again, if you haven't followed the channel, everyone, please give my channel a follow. I really appreciate it. It encourages me to continue doing streams and more and more content. And right now I am working on 2 new Shipyard episodes, one on the Nautilus, one on the Genesis Starliner. Nautilus will come first for sure because the Starliner requires a hell of a lot more work. Tom Kate says, I was watching the announcement video again. There are like 4 floors to this ship. Yeah, loading deck, docking collar deck, command deck, and crew quarters. Yeah, it's going to be a big ship. This here is primarily where the living space is, so it's all sort of crammed in here. The rest of the ship is mostly cargo and then obviously engines. But so I think it's going to be one of those things where they pack a lot in a little, you know. Alaki says, to be honest, the command module should connect up in the middle, split that thing in 2, and place the command module in the middle with the big part clamping. Yeah, obviously that'd be a redesign, but essentially what this ship is, for all intents and purposes, this is the Super Caterpillar. That's what this is. It's the Super Caterpillar. and that's where they've targeted for this thing to land. I know some people have wondered about the ability for parts and pieces of this to translate into the Kraken. And I do think that's going to be pretty doable. So, for example, I took this bridge right here, this top bridge, this piece here. Since it's very similar to the shape of the Kraken bridge, I actually took this and sized it up onto the Kraken. It's almost exactly the same bridge size as the Kraken. Now, the Kraken's is double decker, but it's very similar. Very, very similar. Very similar. Any other ship questions while we have Cinema 4D open? That's the bridge there, or the command bridge right there. It's going to be a really cool ship. I mean, come on. It's going to be awesome. Again, sometimes it can be a little hard to understand what it's going to be like to be on these ships, but I'll just delete that really quick because this is all just like hollow model mesh here. So if you're sitting up here, this is what it's going to be like looking out. Oops. Oh no, it's going to be like that looking out. Makov Denrek, hot take, the Drake Heavy Fighter is a command module variant. It's a cool take. I think that's really interesting, Makov. I think that based off what we've seen of the command module and the silhouette, because you can make out the canopy is more similar to like a vulture. It's that like upward and outward facing like angled canopy. So yeah. So I kind of put our camera roughly where we're at, Tom. I can open the hanger. Well, I can turn the hanger off. Again, this is a hollow model, so it's. So you're going to be able to look out, right? You're going to be able to look out and in pretty well, but you're not going to be able to see everything. You're still going to need people down there. I think so, Joshua. I don't have that rigged to do that, but I think it does. So you'll be able to see here as well. So you will be able to see down in it. I don't have it rigged to do that. But what Joshua is saying is that this piece here with the Drake logo on it is supposed to fall back as well. Now this is the assault variant. Actually, let me open up the regular one. Because this one, okay, this one I have the full thing gone. So let me do that. Oops. Oops. There we go. Okay. Let me zoom us in. Okay. I don't know where the floor is up here because there is no floor in here. But hopefully you'll be able to look down into it like this. Let's see. Does the Legionnaire boarding collar fit the Ironclad command module one? No, I think it's a different thing. What do you think about this for base building? UNC is using CSV, FM, and Ursa Medevac as crew base builder. So I actually think there needs to be a base building variant of the Ironclad. I think it's like a perfect platform for it, to be quite honest with you. Bear with me, everyone. I'm going to move the sun around here. Can I get the light in here the right way? There we go. We'll try that. So yeah, I think this would be a perfect base building companionship. I really do. I really, really do. Let's see what this looks like. I don't know if this will stream up properly, but we're gonna check it. We're gonna check it. We're gonna check it. So yeah, you'll be able to look down. Yes, Cyberwolf, I have Drake Fever, but all I can say is join the club, damn it. I love Drake ships, I really do. This gives you a little sense, everyone. It's a little rough, obviously, but you can kind of see down into it here. So, yeah, I mean, Makov, I think you feasibly could have it work. I totally think it could work. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What's the dimensions of that hangar? Lowest, wider, deeper than the Q? Well, we can check that pretty easily, actually. That is something that is pretty easy to check, assuming the hangar opens up completely like this, which we do think it does. To measure that, all we need to do is drop in a cube. Remember how I said, now the hangar does go back further, I think. Not as far as I have it. This is just a kit bash. But let's just talk about this area right here that we can see. Let's just do that, okay? Because that's a metric we can do here. Okay. So where is my box? Okay. So let's go to like what about here? We'll just back of the back of the napkin this a little bit, everyone. Hope that's okay, Tom. We're just kind of doing a rough build of it here. Something like that, I think. So it's a little too tall. Shorten it up a little bit. There we go. There we go. Let me shrink it down just a little bit too to make way for the door. Okay, so that box there, which fits pretty comfortably in the cargo bay, that box is 33 meters long by 8 meters tall by 19.5 meters wide. So a decent size, a decent size. If you saw my previous stream, I showed that you could very comfortably fit 4 golems in this thing. Very comfortably fit 4 golems. But you could definitely carry a ship in there, no problem. You're going to be able to carry a ship for sure. This will actually be one of the best ship carriers, I think, in the game. So there you go. Real quick, everyone, do not forget that starting this week, we're doing St. Jude Play Live, both myself and Ender. We got a whole bunch of ships that are going to be up for raffle prizes for donating to St. Jude. Again, we'll have that link. We'll have a Tiltify link that you can donate to. And that link, when you donate to it, you'll be able to enter your donation into certain ship raffles that we're doing. We've got an absolutely incredible lineup. Did I have it ready here? Let me see if I have it ready here. Bear with me, everyone. Bear with me. Let me pull that up. Pulling up. 1 second. Let me go back to my left monitor. So for St. Jude Play Live, when you donate to our Tiltify link, which again will be happening on Tuesday, April 1st, you can enter to win a bunch of different ships. We've got 2 RSI Polaris Corvettes, a 600i Explorer, Anvil Carrack, 3 Misk Fortunes, a Super Hornet, couple starter packs, Drake Buccaneer, Hawk, Hurricane, Gladius Valiant, STARJUMP Challenge coins, and I'm going to have 3 custom STARJUMP liveries for STARJUMP Fleet Viewer that I'm doing. So stay tuned for that. That is coming in quick. It's going to start on Tuesday. It's going to be really awesome. Looking forward to it, obviously. God, I actually can't believe that's coming up so quick, but it is. Yeah, that's going to be a big thing. You know, pretty much all the streams um, from April and May are going to be St. Jude themed. It's going to be all kinds of stuff. I'm still going to be doing Shipyard, still going to be doing STARJUMP Station. So this coming week on Shipyard, we're going to be continuing the Argo Capital build. So if you really like that, the Argo Capital ship that we're making, definitely come check out we're going to finish that. We're going to finish the Argo Capital fan concept on Tuesday with my Shipyard stream. And then on Thursday, we're going to do the STARJUMP Station episode where we will be focusing on is it orgs? I think we're going to be focusing on the future of orgs, actually. Now, I did see one other question here. Let's do this. Someone asked about how much bigger is the Liberator compared to the Iron Chad. Not much bigger at all, actually. They're roughly the same size. I can open it for you if you want. I got to be a little careful though. The Liberator is a horrible, horrible model in terms of it being very unoptimized, and it likes to crash my computer. So we'll give it a shot. And I also don't know if it's to metric, so we'll see. Okay, it's not to metric. Okay, how long is the Ironclad? Or sorry, the Liberator, or Liberator. Liberator is 119 meters. Oh, they're the same length. They're the same length. Yeah, they're the same exact length. So let me go in here. So that's too big, I think, right? Okay, nope, that's it. This is the Ironclad next to the Liberator. For those curious. So yeah, if you're curious about the Ironclad next to the Liberator, that is it. Two very different ships, two very different purposes. The reason the Liberator is so much wider, by the way, is it's really meant to carry ships. So it needs to be wider to fit the metric. The Ironclad is meant to carry cargo. So it can carry ships, but, you know, so that's the difference right there. If you were curious, give you an idea here in the ships. Boy, that Liberator's got some big old engines, don't it? That thing's got some monster engines on it. It's going to be cool to see that. Yeah, but there it is. Very cool, very cool. Okay, everyone, I want you to do me a favor. I'm going to send you over to a Star Citizen streamer who's got 6 viewers right now. Please stick on for a minute and give them some of that STARJUMP love that you always give me. If you have not followed my channel, please follow the channel. If you're over on YouTube, please subscribe on the YouTube. But if you're on the Twitch, definitely follow the Twitch. I really appreciate it. Again, it encourages me to do more and more content. It really, really does. So with that being said, I want to send you over to someone here. I want you to give them some STARJUMP love. Spread that community vibe as we always have. We're going to raid Rhett Waffles. He's currently got 4 people. Give them some STARJUMP love. Everyone have a great night. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. It's always fun. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And look for me on Tuesday for another STARJUMP Shipyard stream, finishing the Anvil. Messed it up. Finishing the Argo Capital ship. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We're just finishing rigging it and getting a few final things done before we create the key art. Oh, by the way, on Shipyard, I'll be giving away an Atlas Geo. So if you want an Atlas Geo, I'm giving one away on STARJUMP Shipyard this Tuesday. So stick around. Make sure you follow the channel, okay? On STARJUMP Shipyard next week, we'll be giving away a Gollum. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night. Appreciate it.